Hi everyone, welcome to Developing Microsoft Azure Solutions. I'm Karthik Muthukrishnan and I have been associated with this Capgemini for more than 10 years and I'm taking care of the .NET trainings and JavaScript stack training for the laterals. So this session, that is Developing Microsoft Azure Solutions, will be a 4-day session, and this session is purely for the .NET developers. The prerequisite to attend this particular session is you need to be good at C#, ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, and Microsoft SQL Server. So with this fundamentals, we are going to start with our session. So before starting the session, I'll make it clear like what are the topics that we are going to discuss. Let me just share my screen. Give me a minute. So you people can see that actually you can read this duration as 4 days. So the prerequisite to attend this particular session, first let me share the screen, sorry. Yep. So you people can see the TOC. So please read this duration as 4 days. So the prerequisite to attend this session is C#, Microsoft SQL Server, ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, and if you have a knowledge in networking, it will be good, but it is optional. So in today's topic, we are going to discuss about the cloud fundamentals. Especially, we are going to discuss about what is SaaS, IaaS, PaaS, and what is the difference between public cloud and private cloud. Then we'll be moving into the Azure fundamentals. Then finally we'll be going into the Azure compute overview. In that I'll try to provide you, or probably I'll just start showing you how to work with the virtual machine and containers. So once this part is over, we need to move into the service fabric, where we'll be seeing how to create microservices and how to work with microservices with the help of the service fabric SDK, and I'll be showing you how to do the same with Azure as well. Then I'll be showing, most of the time we'll be working with the web applications, and I'll show you how to deploy a web application, how to create a custom domain, and what are the app, what do you mean by this app service. So many such things will be discussed in the Azure compute. And as I told to you, the very important topic is this: how to build and publish the web applications and the API, and especially with working with Visual Studio, how to publish it with the Git repository, and what is the Azure, what are all the REST APIs provided by Azure. All those stuff will be seen in the building and publishing web applications in API topic. Then we'll be moving into the Azure data storage overview. In that I'll show you how to work with Microsoft SQL Server. So we people used to work with Microsoft SQL Server in the local premises, right? Like now we are going to take that into the Azure, how to connect the SQL Server which is available in the Azure, and what are the configurations we are supposed to do. That sort of things we are going to see in the relational databases. I'm not going to concentrate more about the other databases like MariaDB or Postgres or Oracle, even though MySQL, even though Microsoft Azure supports. As a .NET developer, we are going to concentrate purely on the Microsoft SQL Server part. Then we'll be moving into the non-relational databases. Especially we are going to discuss about a database called Cosmos DB and how to do a CRUD operation using the Cosmos DB. So such things we are going to discuss in the non-relational database. And Microsoft Azure itself is having the Azure storage. It's having its own storage mechanism. In that we are going to speak about the blob storage, table storage, file storage, and queue storage. Then Microsoft Azure also support a concept called a serverless application. So no need to have a server. We can just write some functions and we can work with that. That comes under Azure function part. In that we are going to discuss about what is Azure function, how to work with that, and how to create a function pipeline, how to deploy a function in the Azure. Then in the security part and the identity services, we are going to discuss something about the Azure Key Vault, and we'll see how to work with Azure applications and what sort of role it plays there. And we are going to see the encryption features and what I mean by this RBAC, that is role-based access control. Then we'll be moving into the Azure monitoring and diagnostic part. In that we are going to discuss about all the types of monitorings available. If suppose some exception happening, how we can get notified with notification, and we are also going to see how to get the alerts and how to automatically scale your computing power whenever when there is a load. Then I'll be giving you an introduction about application insight, and we'll see the demo on that as well. Along with this, if time permits, we'll be moving into the continuous integration as well, like how to work with continuous integration and how to create a build, how to just CI and CD, continuous delivery and continuous integration we are going to see. So this is all about the topic for our Microsoft Azure. Once again, this session is purely for .NET developers. So please take this as 4 days. I'll be sharing you the TOC by the end of the session, or probably I'll be sharing it with you right now. So welcome back. We have seen the TOC. Now to start up with our session, we are going to start with the cloud computing introduction. I'm not going to take much time in this particular topic because this is something theoretical, and at the same time it is very important. So I'll try to complete this particular topic as quick as possible so that we can start concentrating a lot with development rather than the theoretical part. Okay, so to start up with the cloud computing, you would have heard about what is cloud, because it is a buzzword for the last 6 years. So when you're talking about the cloud computing, it is a virtualized computing platform which has an infinite resource. Okay, let me just start with the screens. Okay, before that, by the end of this module, you will understand the fundamentals of cloud computing. You will get an overview of the cloud application, cloud platform, and private cloud, and you can clearly differentiate what is SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, and you can also list out the benefits and the limitation of SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. So as I told you, it is a virtualized computing platform. Virtualized in the sense, like people used to always see the stuff right in front of you. There will be one monitor, there will be a CPU and all the stuff. But when it comes to cloud, it is completely virtualized, and same time it has infinite resources for running your application. So infinite resource in the sense, you people, if suppose you are going to be a SharePoint application developer or a SharePoint portal developer, in order to do that, we required a 16 GB RAM some 2 years back. If you are going for the latest SharePoint, they are saying that it requires 32 GB RAM. So 32 GB RAM is okay. Suppose in future they are saying that in order to work with SharePoint, you required 128 GB RAM. We won't be having slots to even fix the RAMs, all right? But I don't want to worry about such things when I am working with Microsoft Azure or any cloud platform or cloud computing stuff, because it will be having an infinite resource to run your application. You can just say that I want this 3 terabytes of 3 GB, 4 GB, even more. As much as you want, you can just get the storage space, you can get the computing stuff. So it's an infinite resource to run your application. It leverages the economies of scale to save our money by running only require us to pay for what we use. This is another interesting part. So since it's an infinite resource, it doesn't mean that we need to pay for everything. So whatever we are consuming, we need to pay for that. So this is all about the cloud computing. It's a virtualized platform where you can run the application. Okay, if it's a virtualized platform, somebody needs to provide it, right? So who is going to be the provider? In the sense, these are all the providers available for our cloud. So what in this, we need to understand that we have many providers like Microsoft Azure is there, Amazon is there, DigitalOcean, and many more. Okay, they used to be called as CSPs. So cloud providers are sometimes referred to call as CSPs. So what they will do in the sense, like internet provider who provides 4G connection for us, these people are going to provide some cloud computing services. Like they will provide the servers, they might be providing the storage devices, they will provide you the database, networking, analytics, everything. In order to do all those stuff, only one thing is required. We required a high speed internet connectivity. If you have internet, then you can, with the help of these providers, we can work with the application in the cloud. So when you're talking about the cloud computing benefits, so we are going to discuss about this cloud computing benefits throughout our session, but to be clear, priorly, that is before the cloud came into the picture, we used to work with a model called capital expenditure model. Okay, right now, what is the capital expenditure model in this sense? For example, if I'm starting up a new company, when I start up a new company, I need to have the infrastructure first. Then only I can recruit the employees, then I can give them the systems and all those stuff. For that, I need to have the complete plan. Like I need to invest. There should be a capital amount for me before moving or before starting up my small company. But when I move into the cloud, I don't want to worry about such things. I don't want to worry about the air conditioning, how to do the air condition, how to work, what are the systems required, whether I need to go with 8 GB RAM and all those stuff. For an example, if you remember some 3 to 4 years back, in our Capgemini, we are having systems with 2 GB RAM. But now all the systems have been upgraded to 4 GB RAM. And the system which is having 2 GB RAM, it's of no use. They are all into scrap right now. So whatever amount we have spent on that particular resource, it got wasted. But when you are moving into this cloud, right now, it's going to move from the capex model, that is capital expenditure model, to the operational expenditure model. So I don't want to worry about the upfront cost for providing the space, adequate environment, then power, many things like air conditioning, server rack. So somebody needs to take care. We need to have admin people for doing that. So everything will be taken care by the cloud provider. So we have a lot of cloud providers. I have told you that Microsoft Azure is one among them. Another important thing that I can say about the cloud provider is Amazon was the first company to move in the cloud platform. So that's for your information. So, and another benefit of going with the cloud is I'll always stay on the cutting edge with the latest technology. This is a very interesting part. For example, if I want to do development using Docker, we required Windows 10. Without Windows 10, we cannot work right now. Even though Docker for Windows 7 is available, it is not fully working. Suppose you have Windows XP, for sure nobody will be having that, but if you are having XP, then obviously you cannot do any sort of stuff. And in fact, in order to work with the service cluster, I told you, like SDK, Service Fabric application, we required Windows 10. Then only the softwares will be get installed. If I go with cloud, I don't want to worry about all those stuff. So I don't want to worry about the latest technologies. I can use anything. I can use IoT Hub. I can work with the message queues. Many things are available. I don't want to worry about any hardware infrastructure to support that new features or the new technologies. And it ensures the redundancy. So when you're talking about the redundancy, it's nothing but how it's uptime and the availability. So how quickly it will be available for us. So I don't want to very quickly, if there is some problem, some disasters happening, I'll be provided with the another one. And the SLA says that, for example, Microsoft SLA says that they will be having the availability of 99.9%. If you opt for that particular features, then your system will never go down. So that's the SLA between a vendor and the Microsoft Azure. So it can be scaled geographically to lower the latency. This is another interesting part. So when you're talking about the Capgemini, so Capgemini has many places, like it's working in, we are in Europe, we are in Japan, India, etc. So it can be scaled geographically to lower the latency. So anybody who is trying to work with, when we have a tie-up, since we have a tie-up with Microsoft Azure, for example, if you try to access the resources from Maharashtra, it will try to connect it to the central India. And we have a data center, we have the region called South India, we have a region called Southeast Asia. So whoever, from wherever they are trying to give that, they will be, it can be scaled. If there is an option to scale our resources, it will try to connect to the nearest region or nearest data center so that we can lower the latency. So these are all the benefits of cloud computing. So we have seen the cloud computing benefits. Now we'll see the elements of cloud computing. So when you're talking about the cloud computing, there are 4 important things. This makes the cloud. They are elasticity, scalability, pooling, and provisioning. So when I'm talking about the elasticity, the first part here is it needs to dynamically adjust your infrastructure to the service demand. For example, let me take our IRCTC website. So IRCTC website will get the maximum load when we do a Tatkal booking, right? So at that time, it needs to dynamically adjust the infrastructure to the service demand. So in fact, that comes under a concept called scalability. So service demand here, I can say that like if I'm having 20 employees in my organization, I don't want to worry. If suppose tomorrow I might be having 100, I'm recruiting, I got a project and I'm having 100 employees, within a quick time, I can get that resources very quickly. So it is elasticity, dynamically adjusting your infrastructure to the service demand. Scalability in the sense like scale your virtual machine instance up and down dynamically. This is what the example IRCTC website. It needs to scale up automatically by the time 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I can just set that. Only for that peak time, I need my systems needs to be, the instance needs to be raised. And when there is a low, even based on the timings, we can just adjust that, or you can set that based on the load also, you can do that. And we have the 2 types of scalability here. One is horizontal scalability, another one is vertical scalability. What do you mean by horizontal scaling means? It is going to horizontally scale. If suppose there is an instance with 2 GB RAM, I'm just giving you an idea. I'm having a compute instance with 2 GB RAM. When I'm talking about horizontal scaling, it will just like take another computer with 2 GB RAM. So horizontal scaling means just trying to go for another instance. That's called as horizontal scaling. Whereas vertical scalability is nothing but increasing the capacity of the existing hardware. Okay, whereas horizontal scalability is ability to connect multiple entity so that they all work as a single logical unit. This is a very important part. Vertical scalability means same instance will be provided with, or it will be increased with the capacity of the existing hardware or software by adding the resource. Like I can add the processing power to the server to make it faster. That is coming under vertical scalability. Whereas on the other hand, horizontal scalability means is the way to connect multiple entity. I will be having many entities. A cluster will be there. Multiple nodes will be supporting to serve that particular request. They all work together as a single unit. So that sort of scalability is available when you're moving into this scalability. There is 2 types of scalability will be available for cloud computing, vertical and horizontal. With the help of the load balancing, we can do that. Next is pooling. Virtually unlimited computer storage and network power, which can be made available on demand and pay only for what we use. So as I told to you, we have a infinite resource, but I don't want to use that. It will be available in the pool. It is not like if you take our Uber pool. In Uber pool, if there are only 5 cabs, when the 5 cabs is gone, that pool is empty. But this is infinite. So everything is available. Whenever I want, I can just demand, and I need to pay only for whatever I am using. That's all. That's called as pooling. It should support that pooling. Then finally, provisioning. So when I'm talking about the provisioning, it should support self-service provisioning. Self-service provisioning in this sense, for example, if I want to, as soon as you join Capgemini, what they will do, they will just raise a ticket and they will allocate a system for you. So who will come and allocate in this sense? IT network guy will come and he will configure that such things. He will configure your mail, he will just put the operating system. Many such things will happen. Okay, so in order to do that, we require the IT help desk people or IT people who is working in the networking side. They need to come and help you. Whereas when I'm going for the cloud computing, it supports self-service provisioning. I don't want to be a full-fledged administrator. what I want to do is I need to just log in into the portal. I need to ask, please give me this virtual machine. It will just do that and it will give it to you. Everything available. They have provided the proper interface. Through that interface, I can just get whatever I want very easily. So these are the 4 important elements of cloud computing. They are elasticity, scalability, pooling, and it should do that provisioning work. Okay, then only it is coming under the cloud computing category. Then I think this is a very important slide. So if you have questions, please ask me. So when I talk about the cloud computing, it broadly categorized into 3 major categories. They are cloud application, cloud platform, and private clouds. Private cloud, I'll explain what is a private cloud and public cloud later. So these are the major 3 categories of the cloud computing, and the topic whatever I am discussing now, it's common for all the cloud services or like all the CSPs. It might be Google Cloud or Amazon or Microsoft Azure. This is a common topic. So when I talk about the cloud application, running application in data center owned by third party and accessed via the internet. They are all coming under a category called cloud application category. Example, I can say that like we are using the Gmail. Okay, Gmail is as Gmail, Yahoo Mail, they are all the typical example. I am running some application in the data center owned by the third parties, or if you are not understanding, I can say Office 365 is there, Microsoft Office. So I can just run that application. It is no need to install the Microsoft Office 365 in your system. We can just take the license from Microsoft Azure and you people can just start using that. So running the application in data center owned by the third parties and accessed via the internet. So they will create that like a Play Store. We have Marketplace. In Microsoft Azure, we have a concept called Marketplace, which is very much similar like our Google Play Store. So whatever application I like, we used to install and use that, right, in in Android phones. So same way, I can just go there and I like that particular application. I can buy it from the marketplace and I can start using that. That application no need to be installed in my system. It can be installed somewhere in the data center. I can use it. Then cloud platform, computing resources at data center across the internet. So when I talk about the platform, I need to run my application. Not to run my application, we require the hardware and the software stuff. So that stuff will be available in the data center. I can access it via internet. Same thing like cloud application, we can do that. So the difference between cloud application and cloud platform is cloud platform supports the hardware. Cloud application is a completed application which is available, which is provided by a third party. We can just take that and use it. Cloud platform provides us an opportunity to create such cloud application. As a developer, I can create an application and I can place that into the cloud. For that, we require the platform. That is the second category. Then the third category is the private cloud. Private cloud is nothing but the cloud platform used by a single organization inside their own on-premise data center. Like when I talk about the private cloud, we need to discuss something about the public cloud as well. So what is the difference between public cloud and private cloud? Private cloud is used by a single organization. Only they can use it. Example, our Capgemini, if suppose they have a data center, you would have seen in some places they will be having racks of they will be having many racks. In that they will be having some computing resources will be running in a separate room. Okay, for example, we might be having our data center in Bangalore and Mumbai. That will be used only by our organization, right? So such things can be classified. Now, I'm not saying that it's a private cloud. That's our data center. I'll explain when the data center can be considered as private cloud later. So cloud platform used by a single organization is called as private cloud, whereas this cloud platform used by many people around the globe, they are called as public cloud. We'll discuss about this in detail. So these are 3 major categories of cloud computing. So once again, I'll just show this cloud computing stuff in an image. Look at this. So cloud application, when I talk about the cloud application, it's nothing but software as a service. So some applications will be there that will be available in the cloud as a user, you can directly access that application with your credentials, probably through a single sign-on or through a user ID password. You can get that application and you can use it, and you can pay for whatever you are using. Okay, no need to install this application in your local system. Next, cloud platform. Cloud platform, in the sense, they will be provided with one hardware resource, and in that hardware resource we can have the application. This application can be even created by us, that is, a developer can create it and they will put that into the machine which is available in the cloud, and we can access that. That is cloud platform. So cloud platform is a combination of two things. So when I talk about SaaS, only application. When I talk about cloud platform, it gets divided into two. They are IaaS and PaaS. IaaS means infrastructure as a service, PaaS platform as a service. So cloud platform is further divided into two. We'll discuss this. Then when I talk about the on-premise data center, you can see that like we have our own data center. In our data center we might have some virtual machine, and we can have the application alone in some web server kind of stuff. So this is your on-premise data center, and in turn you can also have something in our cloud. So when I talk about private cloud, it is in your one that is in your own data premise center, and we have the public cloud. This is the public cloud where we have the application which is similar like this. So if you join together, then you can call this as hybrid cloud. If you have some applications running in your on-premises data center, and there are some application which is running in the cloud, and you want to integrate those two things, in the sense it's coming as it is giving a new birth to a concept called hybrid cloud. I'm having some resource in my local and some resource in public, so I'm going to work, means we have a concept called hybrid cloud as well. These are the major categories of cloud computing. So once again, the benefits of cloud computing, as I told to you already, we have discussed this. So once again, let me quickly summarize the important part. When I talk about the benefits of cloud computing, the first part I need to discuss is the cost reduction. How it will reduce? It is going to usually reduce the capital cost. I don't want to buy the hardware and software. No upfront cost at all. Speed. It will be very speed. For example, if I'm trying to connect my system, for example, let me just open the system, and I want to know what is the internet connectivity speed. So I'm just moving into the speedtest.in or speedtest.net, anything you can go. So let me just try to see the internet speed. So my current internet speed is 3.62 Mbps. But if this is a machine which is available in the cloud, for sure it would have crossed 160 Mbps per second. 160 MB can be transferred. So it is very fast. So computer resource, not only the internet speed, I'm talking about the way it process. Okay, so computing speed will be, computer resource can be provisioned in minutes. Okay, I can even take in this way as well, like when I'm talking about the speed, one is the internet connectivity, the computing speed I can talk. In another perspective, I can even speak like this. I require a SharePoint system. Okay, it needs to be deployed, it needs to be installed with SharePoint and configured with SharePoint, in the sense, you won't believe it will take minimum 6 hours to have a SharePoint server. We need to install one by one Microsoft SQL server, IIS server, and all those stuff. But when I go with Azure, the computer resources can be provisioned in minutes. Might be some few minutes we can get that system. I want a SharePoint portal system. Within few minutes we'll get it. So it will be very fast. Next is scalability. As I told to you, it can scale up and down quickly according to your business requirement. Productivity. How it will increase the productivity? I don't want to worry about the antivirus, installing the patches. IT team no need to worry about all those stuff. Everything will be taken care by the CSPs, that is cloud service providers. So IT team can focus on achieving their business goals. So it will seriously increase the productivity. Then reliability. So cloud computing makes up the data backup, data recovery, and business continuity won't be, it won't stop the business continuity. Any problems happen, we have faster recovery ways, and in fact, as I told to you, they are giving the uptime within 90 for 99.9% SLA. So it will be always up and running. So business continuity will be keep on going on, and it is less expensive as well for such things. So these are all some of the important benefits of the cloud computing. Then when I talk about the, as I told to you, the cloud services. In the cloud services, it broadly classified or categorized into three things: IaaS, SaaS, and PaaS. So you need to read that IaaS, EYE, you just read it like this, IaaS. Don't read in a different manner. It is IaaS. And SaaS, 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 you need to read like that, and PaaS. That's the best way of pronouncing it. So IaaS, SaaS, PaaS. So mainly IaaS is going to provide the infrastructure. It's going to provide the infrastructure, virtual machine, storage, network, operating system, and you need to pay only for what you use. It will provide the infrastructure for us, infrastructure as a service. Whereas PaaS is platform as a service. Platform as a service means we can will be provided with the services which required on-demand environment for developing, testing, delivering, and managing the software application. Only you need to create an application, you need to deploy. You need to create application in such a way that which works for that particular platform. So you can see in the right hand side, if you are not using the cloud, everything you need to manage. When I use infrastructure as a service, I just want to manage only the, I need to manage the middleware, runtime, data, and your application. The remaining things like the underlying things like networking, storage, everything will be managed by the CSPs. And platform as a service, OS, middleware, runtime, they will take care. So when I talk about the runtime, our .NET 4.0 is coming as a runtime. Even JRE, Java runtime environment, all those stuff will be taken care by them. I need to just put the Java application, that will work, or .NET application, that will work. So remaining things will be managed by the vendor. I don't want to worry about what version I am working with. Everything is taken care by them, the runtime environments. Then as a software as a service, when you talk about the software as a service, I don't want to manage anything. Just like an end user, I can connect and I can start using that. So these are the three important things. So SaaS is for the end user, PaaS is for the application developer, IaaS is for the network architects. Then quickly, I'm coming up with the SaaS. SaaS stands for running the applications on the public cloud, is called as SaaS. So it supports many applications like Microsoft in the sense we have the Office 365, and it also offers, Microsoft offers many applications like SharePoint Online is there, CRM Online is there. When you're talking about the Google, we have the Gmail, Google site is there, Google Docs is there. If you are going for Zoho, Zoho also provides you the option called mailing. CRM tools are available. Salesforce is another important example for this SaaS, because Salesforce was the first vendor to experience the real success with the SaaS. So they are the first forefront runners who have shown to the market that yes, we can deploy an application in the Azure and make the people to directly connect from their machine to the cloud. So these are all cloud applications. Then when you're talking about the cloud application, we need to think about single tenant and multi-tenant. So I'm talking in the application perspective. So same thing is applicable for the hardware perspective as well later. When I talk about single tenant, each and every customer, when I talk about the single tenant, each and every customer will have their own copy of the application. Is it clear? Are assigned with their own copy. Multiple users assigned with the own copy of the application. Each and every one have their own instance. So the problem here is like you won't be having any cost advantage, because directly they are saying that only you can use that. Whereas multi-tenant in the sense like you are going to do a sharing. Okay, our database, and that applications will be shared. So multiple users or multiple customer organization shares a single copy of the application with their data. So when you go for this sort of option, you will get you can enjoy the freedom of saving the cost. Example for multi-tenant application is our Office 365. So in Office 365, application is going to be same. We don't know where the data is going to be get stored. It will be stored, but who knows that? Multiple organization, there is no guarantee that Capgemini, this one will be stored in this data center, nothing like that. So Microsoft this one application is going to be it's a best example for multi-tenant application. So advantage of going with this multi-tenant is like I can save the cost. And another important part here is like customization is very easy for the vendor, right? Vendor, if we are going for a single tenant, customer is asking, see here, I am not okay with the application in the way it is working. I want to do some alteration, means yes, they can do the alteration and give it, because this application is totally dedicatedly given for the customer A. Once again, customer B, if they are asking for some feature, they can provide it with that particular feature. But when you are talking about the multi-tenant, so vendor needs to just keep on work on different applications to make the customers happy. Whereas when you're talking about multi-tenant, if they want to have the feature, they cannot have, because it is this feature might be A might be like that, but B doesn't. There is a chance that B doesn't like that particular feature, right? So customization is very easy. Some new features are coming up, everyone will get that. So there's a difference between the single tenant application and the multi-tenant application. So now quickly we'll see the SaaS advantages. So faster deployment, I don't want to, in fact, no need to install anything. So that's why I said faster deployment. Usage-based pricing, I need to pay only for what we use. Less financial risk, means I can lower the upfront cost. In fact, when you are going for the SaaS, we have the option called free trial. So before we use such application, I can just give a trial for around 30 days. If you are okay with that, we can buy. If you are not interested, we can leave. Then easier to upgrade, no need to worry about the update the application, and it will be always up to date. If you remember this part, like before the cloud applications were there, the SaaS applications were there, I might be having Microsoft Office 2000, my colleague will be having 2003, another person will be having 2010. If you are creating an application in 2010 with the latest extension .docx, and if you're bringing that docx and try to use it in Microsoft Office 2000 which doesn't support the docx, then it won't work. So such problems will be there. But now easier to upgrade. I don't want to worry about the update application at all. Everything is always up to date. So whatever things I'm going to create, like it will be always up to date. I don't want to worry about there will be a different, because and for your information, for Capgemini spends around $35 every month for each and every individual employee for this Office 365. So if you people are not utilizing that, please try to utilize it. Let me just open that. You can open office.com. So when I open this office.com, you can see that this is our Office suite, Office 365. No need to install this in your system. It's available in the online as well. For example, let me just open the Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word online. So I can create a new document. So look at that, we'll get that stuff. You'll get the ribbon, everything will be there. You can save this document. So I don't want to, every time wherever I'm going, I don't want to take my laptop. Purely, right, if you are beyond the senior manager level, you need to do the presentations. So every time we used to take that laptop everywhere. But now if I save these details, it will be saved in the OneDrive, in the cloud. I can just simply go into the, take any systems, give the credentials. No need to give credentials as well. It is single sign-on. So you can just open this Word application and show it to anyone, and your data are safe. Okay, if you are saving the important documents in your system, chances are there that your hard disk can there might be some problem with your hard disk, in the sense we cannot recover, but if it is in OneDrive, it is safe. So once again, this application Office 365 is available for all the Capgemini employees. Try to make use of this, because as I told to you, Capgemini is paying around $35 for each and every employee. They got this subscription, so you can use this. Next, when I talk about we have seen the SaaS advantages. Let me just quickly go into the SaaS disadvantage part as well. So there is a limitations. So limitations are required the trusted SaaS provider. Required trusted SaaS provider means, like, we cannot, there are, as I told to you, there are a lot of CSPs are available in the market. Microsoft Azure is one among them. Amazon is another stuff. So if I want to work with the SaaS application, because everything is getting stored there, we need to have a trust on the provider, right? So if they are not trustable people, it become very dangerous. Whatever we are saving, it will be there in the cloud, and suddenly one day they are saying that no, my data are crashed, or some problems happen to my region. It won't happen, I'm saying. So we require a trusted, we need to trust that. So we need to ensure that that particular SaaS provider is having the compliances or meeting their compliances, then only we can go for that. Next is legal concern. This is another important problem for the cloud itself, the complete cloud itself. For example, if we take the GE business unit, so GE says that, like, your data, whatever data is related to GE, should not go outside of India. How you are going to save that? So there are legal concerns can happen. For example, right now we have the three regions are there: South India, Central India, and West India, I guess. So we have three regions, so that their data will be there in the India. If suppose some 7 years back there is no region called South India, then how we are going to ensure that? So there are some legal concerns, some problems are there, can arise due to the data getting stored outside the customer premises. I'm talking about India, I'm talking about outside the customer premises. They are not ready for that. For example, we have our ODC, right? Like, the data should not come to our Capgemini network. That's the reason they have provided a separate network for us. Then the next one is limited app customization. So app customization is limited when you are going for multi-tenant, right? We cannot simply give a lot of any features. Not multi-tenant, it is for single tenant, am I right? Because every time you need to customize for different people. When it is multi-tenant, vendor will get the benefit. If it is a user, they cannot ask. For example, if I'm a multi-tenant, I'm using a multi-tenant application, I cannot simply ask, I need this feature, or I don't want that particular feature, I don't like that feature. So customizing the applications will be little tough. And another major problem is harder to integrate with the on-premises application. For example, people used to take the data from the Excel sheet through our .NET application. That will be very easy if that particular Microsoft Office is installed in my system, right? If it is installed somewhere else, how to integrate it? I'm not saying that integration is not possible at all. We need to do that with the API. It is little tough. So it's going to be harder to integrate with the on-premises application, especially in the SaaS. Then the last part, this holds good for all the services, requires good internet connectivity. Without this, you cannot. Lower performance will arise if customer is going to do with the low band internet connectivity. And for example, I personally feel that 3 Mbps is not a good speed to connect with internet, Azure. So we require minimum 6 Mbps, then only it will be fast. So these are all the limitations of SaaS. So what we have discussed so far here is, so we have seen the cloud computing categories, we have seen the benefits of cloud computing, the cloud services, what is cloud application, that is SaaS, single tenant, multi-tenant, and what are the advantages we have and what are the limitations we have. Okay, so we have seen the SaaS limitation. Now we are moving into the next important part, that is cloud platform. So as I told to you, cloud platform, it get categorized into two. Please read it as IaaS. IaaS. IaaS means infrastructure as a service, and platform as a service together will create the cloud platform. So when I talk about IaaS, we have a virtual machine. In that virtual machine you need to manage everything. PaaS, no virtual machine, directly you can put the application and run. There are platforms available, you can just place that, so it will work. So together will form it as will be considered as a cloud platform. That's what this cloud platform is all about. It's an environment with that developers can build application on that and users can then use it. Okay, so when I talk about the IaaS and PaaS, these are all the differences. When you are going for IaaS, you will be having the higher degree of control because it's your virtual machine. You can decide what runtime. For example, I can take a Windows 10 machine. In that I can install .NET Framework 2.0, not .NET Framework, because by default it will be having .NET Framework 4. And when you are moving with IaaS, for example, if we take Python, so I can decide what version of runtime for Python needs to be installed. That I can decide because I'll have the higher degree of control. Whereas in PaaS, we can't. It's lower degree of control because we just have a platform. We don't have the rights to install the runtime and all this stuff. We can select the runtime, we cannot install it. That's the difference between the IaaS and PaaS. And the IaaS supports the legacy application. The old one still we have the support because we are maintaining it. Whereas when you're going for PaaS, we cannot have the legacy app. So it lowers the support for the legacy applications. So if I want to run ASP.NET is okay. ASP, classic ASP means I don't think so. We need to go for the cloud platform. You need to go with something else, or else you need to try to create a VM. In that VM, you need to install that runtime for ASP, then you can run. But for argument, if you take, yes, ASP can be run with the ASP.NET runtime as well, because it supports that. In Windows we can do that. I'm just giving you an idea. Like it will be legacy applications won't work. Then lower ease of management. When you're going for the management part, it's not that it becomes very complicated because you need to install the antivirus, you need to update the patches every time. Whereas when I go for PaaS, I don't want to worry about the antivirus. Everything will be taken care by the CSPs. They will take care. I don't want to do that. We are just simply using it as a platform. Then when it is IaaS, lower agility, whereas PaaS, higher agility. So these are the differences between the IaaS and PaaS. So once again, we are going to see the advantages of IaaS. So IaaS benefits, the first one, full control. Customer is having the full control over their VM and everything inside it. So you can, for example, since it is getting recorded, I should not say that, but still, you can have the software with a cracked version. For example, you are having a piracy software, put that inside the VM. Nobody is going to take that because it's your VM. That's how you people are using in your home, right? So I don't know how many of you are using Windows original version. So most of you people will be Indians in India. They are not, the piracy is not completely eradicated, right? So you can have everything. This is your virtual machine. Nobody is going to worry about that. When you are going for PaaS, it is not like that. Everything is licensed. They are taking care of. You don't want to worry about the license and all those stuff. Where you are going for IaaS, I need to worry about that because I'm having a full control. The same full control will be a problem as well because I need to manage everything. So advantage, disadvantage. Then next, can run anything inside the VM. That's what I said. You have the control, you decide it. Pay as you go option is there. You can pay for whatever you are using. And another interesting part with IaaS is, if suppose you are shutting down the resources, I don't want to pay. For example, every day 6 o'clock I can shut down my system. As soon as I shut down the system, that particular machine, that computing costage won't be happen. But storage cost and other things will happen. Computing cost won't happen because the system is in the deallocated stage. Easier maintenance. How it is easier? The customer can run and control its own virtual infrastructure without the overheads of cost and maintenance from running its your own because everything is you are deciding. I can say that like I can go with the higher speed or lower speed, so I can just maintain it very easily. So these are all the advantage when you're moving with the IaaS. And same with the limitation part, it is most expensive. IaaS is most expensive in what way? Don't try to compare this with PaaS. I'm talking about IaaS without cloud. Most expensive. Most expensive means if I buy a system with some what to say like some 12 core system, I need to pay around for per hour I need to pay around 15 rupees if I'm using that. So it is very costly, and I need to be I'm having more responsibility, because if you are not shutting down the system for each and every hour, the cost is going to be increased. So we need to be very responsible when you're working with IaaS. So these are all the limitation. So the customer is responsible for backup, patch updates, everything, and the performance of the network once again depends on the internet connectivity. Then comes the PaaS advantages. So when I talk about the PaaS advantages, just a minute. Yeah. So when you're talking about the PaaS advantage, faster deployment. This is one of the greatest feature of the PaaS. Very quickly I can deploy it. The runtime environments are already available. I don't want to do any installation. You can just simply deploy that application. Cost effective in comparison to IaaS, because we are leasing the software platform, not the resource, right? Just like a lease, I'm taking it, using it, that's it. If I'm not having that application, I'm nowhere associated with that platform. So it is the association is coming whenever you deploy the application. If you are not deploying the application, I don't want to pay for the resources. But when you are going for IaaS, whether you use it or not, for example, even though you shut down the system, you need to pay the money for the storage. That hard disk is there, right? For that we need to pay the money. For storage devices and all, we need to pay the money. But here it is like we are just leasing it. I'm having my application. When I'm just placing that application, then only that we need to pay the money. Then developer need to do less work so that the applications can be created very quickly. I don't want to worry about the deployment. Especially I still remember after creating an application in ASP.NET, if I want to deploy it in IaaS, we need to just change the environment. We need to just set that create a virtual application, virtual directory. Many such things needs to be done. But when you are going into the Azure deployment, it is very easy. Just publish it. As soon as you publish, it will work. And minimal management. No need to administer the application. Organization are right now, they are spending more and more to support their applications. But when you are moving into the PaaS, I don't want to do that. It will be taken care. And same thing, like it's all this PaaS is also having some limitation. PaaS limitation is little, there is some problems there. The first problem here is the less familiarity. So right now we have many people here. How many of you know how to deploy this application? What are all the configuration needs to be done before deploying? So that familiarity is not there, right? So less familiarity, and need to work with constraints. Need to work with constraints in the sense like they are saying that these are all the, if you want to deploy a application, .NET application in the Azure platform, you need to ensure that your application needs to be configured in this way, or application needs to be created in this way, then only it will work. So such constraints are there, and due to that constraint, I might end up in lock-in with that particular vendor, right? For example, if I create an application with the constraints provided by Microsoft Azure, then I cannot deploy that application in Amazon. So when you're talking about the PaaS, the major problem I can say is vendor lock-in. The applications which is created for Amazon Web Services cannot be taken just like that. There is a word called lift and shift. We cannot just simply take that and place it here. We need to just once again modify your application to work with Azure platform, then only we can deploy. So which is a huge cost. It's not that easy, right? Because we have spent a lot of money in creating the application which works for Azure. Suddenly you are deciding that no, I don't want, we cannot take the decision at all. We will get locked with that particular vendor. So that is vendor locking can happen. So these are all the limitations for our PaaS. Then quickly we'll finish off the private cloud and public cloud and we'll take a break. So when I'm talking about the private cloud, as I told to you, private cloud infrastructure is a dedicated infrastructure provided only for your organization, and your firewalls, everything is there. You are having the IT security, as the way one of the participants told, like everything my IT people will take care. So that sort of self-satisfaction will be there when you are going with the private cloud. So company also pay third-party service provider to host their private cloud. Means our Capgemini is a very big company. If there is a small startup company, if they want to have their own data center, they are not afford to do that. What they will do in this sense, they will have a tie-up with a third-party service provider in their near premises. So they will, instead of they are maintaining that servers and stuff, they will give that for the to some other third party and they will use it. So using private cloud, VM admin in an organization can create a predefined service, predefined users, access right, etc. This is a very important part. I'm having data center in no, not data center. Capgemini has private cloud. We cannot claim our data center as a private cloud if it is not meeting these things. Like we should have a just like the way we are getting the resources from the public cloud, with some simple clicks I should get the system. Is that happening? Means then that company is having private cloud. If it is not happening, then you cannot claim your data center as a private cloud. It should have an infrastructure to provide the things immediately. Is that happen? For example, you are in the developer team, you require a system, a Windows 2018 data center system. I want that within 15 minutes. If our IT team provides that by just simple clicks, then you can claim that yes, our company is having private cloud. But if they are taking one full approval, like you need to send a mail to your business head, and business head needs to approve. After it's approving, a ticket needs to be raised, and the ticket, if it is getting resolved after 3 days, then we cannot claim that company or that organization is having a private cloud. So it should be done immediately as soon as they make the request. Then only you can call your data center as a private cloud. Whatever infrastructure is provided in the public cloud, the same infrastructure or same sort of facilities, features provided to the user, then only it will be considered as a private cloud. Otherwise we can't. So when I go for benefits, the benefits of the private cloud, these are the benefits we get. Better control. So however we people say that public cloud is there and it is 99.9% security, we feel, as I told to you, the self-satisfaction will be there if you are controlling that. We have the complete control, better control for data, users, information assets, everything. Then we are talking about the security. The cloud belongs, this particular one, this private cloud belongs to a single client. So infrastructure system can be configured and with the high levels of security and superior performance. Once again, the same thing, it belongs to a single client, so that performance wise you can increase the performance if you want, so that you will get the full benefit out of that. Easy customization, we can customize our hardware resources in whatever way we want. And compliances can be very easily achieved in private clouds. As I told to you, we have the audit, right? So our audit, it's very simple. If you have ISO certification or Six Sigma or Yellow Belt, many things are there, right? For that compliance, to achieve that compliance is very easy when you're having a private cloud. But if it is public cloud, it is not that easy, right? There are many such certifications they need to they need to ensure that they need to clear the audit, then only they will get that compliance. So compliance can be very easily achieved in the private clouds. So these are the benefits of the private cloud. And when you're talking about the cloud deployment model, as I told to you, there are 3 models available: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. So we have discussed enough things about the private cloud. What is public cloud? So public cloud owned and operated by a third-party cloud service provider. They are going to deliver the computer resources, storages, everything over the internet. All the services are exist in the internet only. And especially when you're talking about public cloud, it is like a multi-tenancy, right? Everything is multi-tenant. Private cloud is single tenant. In between is hybrid cloud. Hybrid clouds are the combination of public and private cloud bound together by technology. For example, I want to move to cloud. I means like Capgemini wants to move to cloud means they won't just like they take the risk of taking all the application and deploy it in the cloud. So they will just slowly move step by step. They want to see how it's working. So they will have some applications in the on-premises, some applications in the cloud, and they will try to integrate and see. So if that things are happening, then it is good. If something goes wrong, then it will be a major disaster, right? So they won't do that. Everyone will slowly step into that. So when they want to do this hybrid cloud, there should be a connectivity between your private cloud and with the public cloud. It should not be connected with the internet. When you're going with hybrid cloud, if you're connecting with internet, then for example 3 Mbps speed, it is not 3 for example Mumbai Capgemini network, Bangalore Capgemini network, if it is connected via 3 Mbps speed, it will be very tough, right? We are saying that it is intranet. Even though we are in a different states, we are still accessing it very fast because we have a dedicated lines for that. Alright. So same way, if you want to do this hybrid cloud, to set up a site-to-site VPN, or you can have a dedicated connection which bypass the internet. They used to call this as express route. So there is an express route, a separate connectivity between your on-premises with the cloud. They will establish so that it will be fast. It will be like a local intranet only, but the details are in the cloud. So hybrid cloud is giving the business greater flexibility and more deployment option, right? So we have the option of public as well as private. So Microsoft is the leading company which is providing this feature, and they are strongly focusing on this hybrid cloud. So this is hybrid cloud. Okay. So quickly summarize this first lesson. So cloud environment can be accessed from anywhere in the world as long as the user has the access to the internet. Cloud computing leverages the economies of scale to save our money by only requiring us to pay for what we use. Single tenant application requires one instance for each customer, so there is no cost advantage for SaaS application provider. Multi-tenant applications are easy to update, maintain, to work with, and also provide cost saving to the customers. PaaS doesn't support VM on-demand use, whereas IaaS supports it. PaaS gives the developer less control. They must work with the constraints. And private clouds have the value only if users have customized and unique requests. This is a very important point about private cloud. So simply we should not create the private cloud. Why I need to migrate or convert my data center into a private cloud if you don't have such unique request? Everything is, I'm having a very big IT infrastructure team is there. They will take care, and this is, there is no meaning in going with private cloud. But I'm going to reduce that manpower in the IT help desk, okay? And I want to give that option to my developers itself through the portal. Then it makes sense to go with the private cloud, right? That's what I'm trying to say here. The private clouds have value only if the users have customized and unique request. And private cloud is allowing the automated VM. Everything needs to be automated on demand request. And as I told to you, organizations cannot claim their data centers as private cloud without this facility. If it is not automatically getting assigned, we cannot claim our data center as a private cloud. So this is all about the first lesson.